diplomats. Are they talking about foreign diplomats? Are they talking about basically every senator and U.S. representative? What are they talking about here?
I think they're talking about foreign diplomats.
Okay, so every foreign diplomat is basically working for Monsanto.
That's exactly what this WikiLeaks cable says.
That's amazing. I mean, they're promoting the conventional program, which is the politically correct program, that Monsanto is good and we want to get GMOs in every country.
Yeah, and notice they're not doing it openly. They're not openly going on the news and saying, you need to allow Monsanto to infiltrate your company. They're doing this all in secret, and it takes a WikiLeaks cable to reveal it. They even go as far as to, quote, target Catholic bishops and the Vatican, since they have, quote, openly declared Monsanto's GMO crops as a new form of slavery. So they're infiltrating organized religion. They're infiltrating foreign governments, all for Monsanto. It sounds as if Monsanto is essentially a government organization. They're saying, why are you denying Monsanto? Now, why would high-level government officials be saying this? There's a number of reasons, but one of them also is that the key individuals in the government, over 50 of them, have at one point or are currently working for Monsanto as well in conjunction, including heads of the FDA, which approved a lot of their genetically modified concoctions just years ago and today.
Wow. This is huge. I hope you're going to get this out in a news blast of some kind to get people aware of just how significant the problem is with the underlying current within all of our representatives or whomever. It seems like everybody, even in those people in Washington, are promoting Monsanto, promoting GMOs, promoting the poisoning of the people. Well, welcome back to Power Hour. Thank you for joining us. It is 24 minutes after the hour. Investigative journalist and reporter Anthony Gucciardi joins us today. His website is naturalsociety.com, naturalsociety.com. We thank you for joining us and this discussion about Monsanto. Anthony, if I were to ask you the number one thing or the worst part or the worst thing that GMOs can do to a human body, because we want to get into what it's doing to the animal population, to the ecology, to whatever. But if you were being asked at a grocery store, what's the worst thing it can do to your body, what do you think that is at this point of all the things that we now know?
It would probably have to be the sterility issue or the organ damage issue, because the organ damage issue is perhaps the most prominently known. In a review of 19 studies, a large team of scientists determined that GMO corn or soybeans, which, by the way, are the most prominent, may lead to significant organ disruptions, particularly in the liver and kidneys. And the liver is perhaps the most important organ for optimal health function. So when you're eating GMO corn on a daily basis, particularly unknowingly, since you're probably gorging on snacks or anything like that, without even thinking about it, your liver is just being consistently attacked by genetically modified organisms to the point where liver toxicity can occur and organ damage can be the end result. So and then we have sterility and infant mortality. It's really just degrading the genetic integrity of the human species. And beyond that is perhaps the threat to the soil and the entire biosphere, which is even greater than the personal health concern.
Well, give me an example, though, of one of the worst GMO foods that you can think of that a person might just be unknowingly getting at the grocery store and eating on a daily basis.
Soy lecithin can sometimes, soy, period. 93% of soybeans in the United States are genetically modified. The number can go as high as 96%. 93% is a conservative estimate. And then we have similar amounts of corn, about 90-something percent as well. So most soy products, unless they're high-quality organic, are genetically modified. There's about a 4 to 6% chance that it's not genetically modified.
Wow.
So if you're eating any soy product, I strongly urge you to make sure they're organic or call up the company and ask if they're GMO, because the chances are that they are.
And you know how many times it says on the package contains soy and nuts, because they're wanting people to know for allergy purposes. You may not realize that there's soy in there until you see that bold contains soy and nuts. But give us an example of an item at the store. Would you say maybe buying a store-bought cake mix, buying cookies, pizza?
even sometimes the produce you buy, the raw, pure produce. Or let's say you buy meat and they've been fed genetically modified grains. You see? It's a circle.
Right.
So,
what the animal was fed is what you're going to be eating. That's right.
Exactly. And then you can have restaurants are not only using MSG, high fructose corn syrup, everything like that, they might be using genetically modified ingredients. But think about vegetarians who eat soy in replacement of meat oftentimes. They're potentially loading themselves up with a large amount of GMOs. And this is why also that a lot of studies on certain foods are completely worthless, because they'll say, let's say meat increases your chance of prostate cancer. Well, I'd like to see what the study would be like if they used 100% organic grass-fed beef, GMO-free, as opposed to a half-dying cow that's been injected with bovine growth hormone and has been eating genetically modified feed. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So many foods like soy, you could say, oh, soy increases estrogen and gives you cancer. Well, are we talking about genetically modified soy? It turns into a whole big modern crisis as to which is genetically modified, which is full of additives. It's essentially changing the way that health even works. There's no such thing as a healthy food anymore. You have to say, well, what's in it or what it consists of.
So meat is not meat is not meat. Meat is not meat, and the pink slime meat that you get at the grocery store obviously has the potential for containing not only from the pink slime genetically modified ingredients, but all in chemicals, but the feed that went into the cow or the chicken or the pig or whatever.
Yeah, and speaking of pink slime, McDonald's recently abandoning that. Everyone acts like that's a major victory. It's like, oh, I'm going to go eat fast food now. They use garbage ingredients as well. The pink slime was only 1/millionth of the issue, as you know.
All right, we've got a break. We're coming at a 3-minute break. We'll be back with Anthony Gucciardi. Stay tuned. We're going to talk about the environment, ecology, and the monarch butterfly. Stay tuned. Aside from humans and aside from our own personal bodies and our babies and being affected by this, the GMO ingredients in our children's food, what is it that it does to our environment that is probably the worst thing outside of our human bodies that you can think of, Anthony?
Well, it damages the soil. It kills the microorganisms responsible for the health of the soil. That's actually an extremely new report. You're going to be seeing that a lot on the alternative news within the next few days. It damages the soil to the point where the entire biosphere is threatened, in the sense that when you grow crops, the health of the soil is important to preserve the nutritional content and even the genetic integrity. But what this is doing is it's destroying the bacteria that are responsible for raw and fermented foods, in particular the health benefits that they provide. So if we allowed Roundup, Monsanto's Roundup, to be used for much longer, not only is it creating mutated insects with at least 8 populations developing mutations to resist the BT crops and everything like that, and 2 populations resistant to BT sprays and 6 species resistant to Monsanto's crops as a whole, we're actually threatening the crop yielding potential of the entire world. And that is a true statement. But the real issue is that Monsanto responds with these mutations and resistances because what happens is you use your GMO crops.